ELI5 Who owns or controls space? So, in all the history of the world, land belonged to people that could defend it. That could be either militarily, or diplomatically. It still happens today. Look at Ukraine. Some areas that are hard to handle militarily are left somewhat neutral, which is a diplomatic measure. International waters comes to mind. Space is similar. But if some country decides they want it, at diplomatic costs they can try. Just like China and the South China Sea. Per the Outer Space Treaty, its 108 signatories do not recognize any claim by any nation on space, the moon or other space objects. The closest to ownership is over orbits of objects around Earth, which are also governed by international treaty. Their orbits aren't so much owned as leased and is designed to prevent collisions. No one owns space, but international treaties govern its use very close to Earth. Basically, space, unlike a small forest or your average Middle East country, is rather hard to occupy and control. By hard I mean to say, at any moment right now, a gamma ray burst could hit Earth and cause a mass extinction of most if not all complex and even most of the simple life on the planet. Right now, and we couldn't predict it a second before it hits. It's silly to think anyone could lay claim to space. No one. I mean, try to occupy space. Go ahead. How exactly do you want to do that? It's not a piece of land. There's enough of it for everyone, and its boundaries are only defined by what other celestial objects happen to be in its vicinity. Are you going to declare 50 miles cubed of space right in between the moon and Earth to be yours? That's just preposterous. It's the same answer to who owns or controls anything who can muster the greatest force. Of course, we generally don't see the force being applied in practice, because we usually agree that we are letting nation-states exercise the force on our behalf, and they don't usually exercise it, because they have agreed not to, or perceive that it's in their best interest not to. Nobody. Most of the world has agreed that the exploration and use of outer space shall be carried out for the benefit and in the interests of all countries and shall be the province of all mankind. As per Space Treaty, no one. It's kinda like international waters. There's an international treaty stating no country can own claim parts of space or the moon, Mars, other planets. That's the current law. Will it hold up when space actually becomes worth something? We'll see. Whichever nation or species has the bigger guns gets to define their own borders. If an alien species turns up and announces the solar system belongs to them, humans can either accept it or move. It's not like we would be able to argue with them. Correction: who claims to own or control space? No one's exactly controlling it. Saying you control something doesn't mean you actually do it. It's being implied that someone's in space right now, going, "This is all mine." No one. Is there? I'd recommend watching this video by Wendover Productions. He highlights the current abuse of international waters and how if we don't do anything about regulating it, the same could end up with space. How would you even claim territory in space? Our planet is constantly moving around the sun, which is constantly moving around the galactic center, which is also moving. Plus there's nothing there to claim. It's like the open sea, no one owns it. That will change quickly if we develop much better and cheaper rocket engines, like the Epstein drive from The Expanse. At the end of the day, whoever controls it, owns it. If a country builds a base on the moon, that piece of moon is not theirs, because who will make them leave? No one. Treaties have been signed over this, that no one can own or control space or any other celestial body such as the moon or Mars. Nobody, but the US governor's hoping to change that. As far as I know, we're the only ones with a dedicated branch of military just for that. Who never can hold it. But yes, there are treaties that parallel concepts like international waters. But I said what I said.